Hello and welcome, this is TV Vision 1 with another video, this time my NXT review for the 18th of March 2015, and let's go in and talk about it. It was live from some place in Columbus, Ohio, and we are our first away match to say, first away NXT ever really. It's always been in Florida, but this week is of course in Columbus, as I noted last week. I was pretty excited about this. They sort of went through a lot of it throughout the show. It's been like 15 minutes basically doing promos and stuff, but a lot of it was just talking about what they were doing here in Columbus for the Arnold Sports Festival. Obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger was there and there was a lot going on. NXT were getting on the road. They were doing a great deal of activities and definitely getting themselves out there. I definitely think this is a good future endeavour they could embark in, because NXT on the road sounds like a great idea and could generate more fans, and it's interesting to see. So they were live from a different place this week, and let's go in and talk about the matches. The first one was Kalisto in a singles match against Kalisto versus what's his name? Tyler Breeze. I love Tyler Breeze. So it was interesting to see Kalisto in a singles match, as one of the commentators noted. What is it? But it's kind of weird to see Kalisto in a singles competition where he's used to being a tag team, while Tyler Breeze was more used to being, of course, in the singles matches, and he won against Hideo Itami. He's on a winning streak at the moment, and really, he's done pretty well for himself. I haven't seen him lose in a very, very long time, and yeah, very well for himself here, and just a brilliant matchup here. Kalisto does really well on his own here, and shows himself, doesn't get let down here, but of course, Tyler Breeze won this one. Beauty kick, and yeah, loving this match, and there you go, and to that streak. So yeah, it was a good match. Anyway, yeah, so from here Tyler Breeze really is just moving up. I mean, he's not being really pushed in any way, but you can still feel that he has a crowd on his side, and even a Columbus crowd are cheering for him. Yeah, so I love. He's very successful really at the moment, in my opinion. We had a lot of promos, and of course they were talking about the Arnold Sports Center, which I just mentioned. Our second match was Colin Cassidy with Enzo Amore and Carmella versus Wesley Blake with Buddy Murphy, who are one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions. I don't know, it's sort of growing on me, the Blake and Murphy whole shiz that's going on as tag team champions is pretty cool, I guess. And they're pretty believable as the champions, big strong men, and yeah, it was a fun match. All I can really say about this match is it was pretty fun, and yeah, I did bring a lot of cheers to the crowd, and it was fun. So of course, we get to see Colin Cassidy plow through Blake. But it did seem kind of competitive. I mean, halfway through the match maybe, but you can definitely see Colin Cassidy on a bit of a plow through here. Of course, in that tag team match I talked about, he definitely earned himself the whole Ryback persona thing, just throwing people around, and that was fun. And there's always room for a person. It kind of reminds me of Rhino in a way, but a little more. I don't know, a little more character in him than, of course, Rhino. We still get the sort of storyline that's going here, the mini one with Enzo Amore and Carmella, and then maybe Blake and Murphy trying to impress Carmella. Weird love triangle thingy, but anyway, yeah, it was kind of weird, but that's sort of a way that the match finished. I like the ending. It was a storyline ending, basically. I think. Basically, Cassidy kicks one of the competitors off as he's working down on Blake, and it hits Carmella, I think, and Carmella's lying on the ground, injured. Then he gets pinned, rolled up from Blake, and Blake wins, and it just shows. They go over to look at Carmella, that adds to the story, and it also gives Blake the win. So it's sort of double purpose there, really. Keeping the NXT Tag Team Champions looking strong while adding to another storyline, which I really enjoyed. The concept of that whole thing, it made complete sense. And I mean, yeah. So definitely liked that match, and it was another great match on the show. Oh, good match, yeah. Our third match was the Divas match, and it was the kind of promoed up quite a lot throughout this. Alexa Bliss versus the NXT Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. You can see that all the champions were on the show, which is good and a positive in my opinion. I mean, I think they should always sort of be featured on most of the shows, unlike on WWE. Brock Lesnar, just saying. Yeah, so Sasha Banks, let's go and talk about this one. Right. It was a short match, indeed it was. You could definitely see they had a bit of chemistry between them, but it wasn't nothing of a match. It was a short little brawl, I would say, in my opinion. I mean, there wasn't much in-ring competition. We could see there was some, and then it sort of developed outside, and then Sasha Banks got counted out. It all was over very quickly, and Alexa Bliss ended up in the ring. I really don't know how much that happened. I think Sasha Banks was hit against the post at one point, maybe against one of those fences, whatever, on the outsides. But Bliss ended up winning that one by count out. And after this one, basically, Banks talks to Bliss and says that didn't deserve this win or whatever, and it didn't win cleanly. And there we go. It was our GM. William Regal declares that there will be a women's championship match next week, which pretty much gives us 2 championship matches next week, so it's going to be a very big one. And I can see the reason they're doing this, which I'll talk about at the end, is of course WrestleMania week being next week. And so, they're trying to give a lot of content next week. And it'll be back in Florida, of course, next week. Right. Our fourth match and our main event was Alex Riley versus Kevin Owens, the NXT championship. And I'm pretty sure the championship wasn't on the line in this one, so there wasn't much at stake. And this was sort of a sort of rivalry storyline they brought up in the past 3 weeks. Of course, that happened on the night of Finn Balor and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens definitely looks more focused on Finn Balor. As I said, he just felt that Alex Riley was just a little bit, he had to get out of the way. Alex Riley wins against CJ Parker last week, and this week he embarks on defeating the NXT Championship champion. Would never think he was due, but you know what? He did actually show something pretty great. You definitely see his physical presence with Owens, and a beautiful looking spine buster. Sorry, and definitely kept up with Owens, and it did look very competitive. So I applaud him for that. Maybe he needs to work on his backstage skills because they're not great, and Raid gimmick it's okay. It's not great, but in-ring skills, I give it a positive. He looks good. He's in good shape, and he kept up with Kevin Owens, and he got applaud from that. So Kevin Owens is definitely behind a load of different challengers over the past 2 months or something, but weeks as champion, however long it has been. I think it's great that he's got a different variety, and Alex Riley just adds to that. It did go outside, and then the match ended as Kevin Owens sort of made it a little bit extreme, which I love the dynamic of him doing with it. With most of his matches, making them a little bit hardcore, a little bit ECW. He brings it back in, and he does those big sentons, and finishes off with a pull-up powerbomb, and trying to take out Riley after the match, in a sort of celebration attack as he usually does. But Finn Balor interrupted that. It was great, and he came out and he basically told Owens, what was what. He jumped on top of him from the ramp there or whatever, and he got the better of Owens, but tried to bring him in for his finisher. But obviously Owens got out in time for that, And yeah, pretty great match. It was short, it was sweet, and it got to the point very quickly that we know we're going to see Finn Balor versus Owens next week. And so it was a no-brainer that Owens would win. I'm not saying that that wasn't true, but it definitely, it showed the storyline very clearly, what we were going to see. And, you know, it was a fun match, and there was other fun matches on the card. So overall, I think it was a good show. I found it very entertaining, and it kept my attention most of the way through. I did have a problem. Some of the promos were a bit too long, you know, in the middle. I mean, the 4-match promo format is good, but maybe 5 matches is what they should do, because I don't know, I think the promos might be a bit too in the way there. Or they could do 4 matches, and they could do one of the matches the main event a little longer. I mean, there's options for them there. And of course, yeah, the main event was a lot short this week, but it did showcase 3 superstars, and so there's nothing wrong with that at all. According to next week, we've of course got 2 matches, I think, confirmed for the WrestleMania week NXT, and those are Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens, the big one for the NXT Championship, which I believe that I've heard rumours that Finn Balor will win, so I'm thinking Finn Balor is going to win the NXT Championship next week. Believe it or not, but that is my opinion on that one, guys. I know this sounds a bit crazy, but you gotta have your hopes set high for that one. And yeah, the guy I've been supporting through that, I mean, yeah, they stood up together and they looked pretty strong in that end of this NXT. And so, Finn Balor, that's my odds-on bet there. Comment below what you think will happen next week. And our other match, of course, announced Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss for the NXT Women's Championship, which really popped out of nowhere. I didn't really understand the logic of this match ever being put in place next week. Guess it's just put in place for WrestleMania week, really. Only logical reason there. Sasha Banks, of course, I think winning this one. I know my crazy thoughts on Kevin Owens losing. I mean, after only winning a few matches, the logical thought for me would be Kevin Owens winning, but Finn Balor seems to be rumoured to win, and I don't know, I think it would be surprising and good at the same time. I think it would be positive. But I'm not going to be sad if Kevin Owens wins or whatever. On the other hand, if Alexa Bliss wins against Sasha Banks, I will be kind of annoyed for what NXT are doing there. So, you know, that's my opinions. Comment below what you think of that one. And whatever. Oh yeah, some diva is entering, like some weird sports bodybuilder, Dana Brooke. She's going to be here like a few weeks for NXT. And yeah, I don't have opinions on that. I can't say whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Not sure if he's a good wrestler or anything, but I guess we'll come to see that in the coming weeks. Right, yeah, so that was NXT for the 18th of March 2015. Of course, live in a nice away show for a change in Columbus, Ohio. So, thank you guys. Thanks. Make sure to favorite, like, comment below, and of course, subscribe and all the things you can do below and on my channel. And make sure to give your opinions and tell me what you want to see next. Of course, we're doing these weekly NXT reviews, and enjoy. See you next time.